The submersible's lights cut through the darkness of the Mariana Trench like twin blades, illuminating particles that drifted through the water like cosmic dust. Indy checked the depth gauge again, 10,847 meters, and descending. Beside her in the cramped cockpit, Jackson monitored the sonar readings, his brow furrowed in concentration. "There," he said, pointing at the screen. "That anomaly. It's massive." Indy had seen the satellite data, the gravitational readings that didn't match any known geological formation. But seeing it on their instruments, knowing they were mere meters away from something that had defied explanation for months, sent electricity through her veins. The object materialized from the gloom like a leviathan emerging from a dream. It wasn't a rock formation. It wasn't a sunken ship. The vessel stretched across the ocean floor in elegant curves and impossible angles, its surface covered in what appeared to be coral and deep-sea growth, yet underneath, something metallic gleamed where their lights touched it. "My God," Indy whispered. "How long has this been down here?" Jackson's fingers flew across the controls, deploying additional sensors, carbon dating the biological matter. "Indy, some of this growth is over 8,000 years old, but that's just what's covering it." They maneuvered the submersible closer, and Indy activated the mechanical arm, gently brushing away millennia of accumulated sediment. Beneath the marine camouflage, symbols emerged, geometric patterns that hurt to look at, as if they existed in more dimensions than human eyes were meant to perceive. "We need to document everything," Indy said, her scientific training overriding her wonder. Every angle, every measurement. As Jackson positioned the cameras, something changed. The symbols began to emit a faint bioluminescence, pale blue light pulsing in rhythmic waves across the hull. The submersible's instruments went haywire, screens flickering with data that made no sense. "Indy, I think we activated something." A seam appeared in the vessel's surface, perfectly straight despite thousands of years on the ocean floor. No rust, no degradation. The opening widened, and light spilled out, not the blue of their discovery, but a warm, golden radiance that seemed impossible at this depth. "We should surface," Jackson said, his voice tight. "Report this." But Indy was transfixed. Through the opening, she could see a chamber, and more impossibly, an atmosphere. Water wasn't rushing in. The laws of physics she'd spent her life studying seemed suspended. "We've come this far," she said. "If we surface now, governments will take over. Military. This will disappear into classified files. This is humanity's discovery, Jackson. First contact, even if they're long gone." He studied her face, then nodded slowly. "Together." Then, they guided the submersible through the opening. And the moment they crossed the threshold, the pressure equalization was instant and perfect. The vessel sealed behind them, and their submersible bobbed gently in an impossible pocket of air beneath 7 miles of ocean. They emerged from the hatch in their diving suits, stepping onto a floor that hummed with barely perceptible energy. The chamber was vast, disappearing into shadows their lights couldn't penetrate. But what they could see took their breath away. Holographic displays flickered to life around them, showing star systems they didn't recognize, mathematical equations that seemed to dance and evolve, and images beings that were tall and elegant, with elongated limbs and eyes like nebulae. "They were watching us," Indy breathed, as one display showed Earth from space, but ancient Earth, with different continents and ice coverage. They were here during the last ice age. Jackson approached a central pedestal where a crystalline structure pulsed, with that same golden light. As his gloved hand neared it, symbols appeared in the air, and then, impossibly, words in English: seed vault, biological archive, insurance protocol. They were protecting life, Jackson said, understanding dawning. Not invading. They were preserving. More displays activated, showing species, thousands of them, millions perhaps. DNA sequences stored in crystalline matrices. Plants, animals, microorganisms from Earth and countless other worlds. A library of life itself, hidden beneath the waves. Indy moved deeper into the chamber, finding rooms beyond rooms, each containing technologies that would take humanity centuries to understand. Propulsion systems that bent space, medical devices that could rewrite genetic damage, energy sources that drew power from the quantum foam of reality itself. "They left this for someone to find," she said. But why hide it so deep? The answer came through the holographic interface, images showing catastrophes, asteroid impacts, supervolcanic eruptions, gamma-ray bursts, extinction events. The aliens had placed their gift where it would survive anything that might befall the surface world. Waiting for the native intelligence to evolve far enough to reach it, we have to make a choice, Jackson said, standing beside her now. We could take pieces, prove what we found, become famous. Or we could protect this until humanity is ready. Indy looked at the vast archive. The responsibility of it settling on her shoulders like the weight of the ocean above. These beings had trusted that whoever found this would be wise enough to use it properly. Looking at the state of the world they'd left on the surface, the wars, the environmental destruction, the inequality, she wasn't sure humanity had earned that trust yet. We document everything, she decided. We encrypt it and hide it so deep in the internet that it becomes legend, myth. But we leave instructions, breadcrumbs for a humanity that's grown up enough to deserve this gift. Jackson smiled. And us, we tell the truth. We found an anomaly, geological formation, nothing more. Let them call us crazy. Let them dismiss it. She looked around the chamber one last time. This treasure will wait, just as it has waited for 8,000 years. And when humanity is finally ready, when we've learned to not destroy ourselves and each other, someone will put the pieces together and find their way back here. As they returned to the submersible and the ancient vessel sealed behind them, Indy felt the weight of what they'd witnessed, what they'd chosen, the greatest discovery in human history, and they were swimming away from it. But sometimes, she thought, the most human thing you could do was recognize you weren't ready for the gift being offered. Sometimes wisdom meant knowing when to wait. The submersible began its long ascent, leaving the sleeping guardian to its vigil beneath the waves.